I rise before you to oppose Senate Bill 1175. Its supporters are telling a large group of Michigan's working people and their families and advocates, the very people who have entrusted us to be their voices, to serve them in these chambers, that their voices and efforts do not matter, that they're rallying using their constitutional right, their safety net, to guarantee checks and balances, to let us as lawmakers know that we need to implement real change because they are sick and tired of unfair practices under which Michigan workers have dealt with for far too long. It is unconscionable that anyone could ever be asked to choose between their health and their job. Yet that is the sad reality that many in Michigan face at some point in their careers. In fact, this bill will leave 55% of Michigan's workers, 1.7 million people in our state, 1.7 million people in our state without guaranteed access to sick time. And many of these workers, as we've heard today from the good woman from the 21st District, are the same people preparing and serving our food, stocking our shelves at the market, selling us holiday gifts, and preparing our rooms down the street at the Radisson, and changing our linens in hotels across the state, and working in other service sector jobs. Earned paid sick leave, as it is currently written in PA 338 of 2018, gives all Michigan workers the freedom to prioritize the health of themselves and their families without the fear that they are putting their financial stability at risk. The supporters and proponents of this bill want us to believe that the current law is bad for business and that its replacement in SB 1175 is better. It is not. Working sick costs the national economy $160 billion annually in lost productivity. Human resource executives and small business owners agree that presenteeism is a problem because of productivity lost and the risk of spreading infection, and employees who go to work sick endanger profits by putting the productivity of workers at risk, as well as put the health and safety of their customers and the public at risk. PA 338 is good public health policy. Senate Bill 1175 that we have before us is bad public health policy because it leaves so many people uncovered. The supporters and proponents of this bill also want to sell you a bill of goods that linking it to the Family Medical Leave Act, the FMLA, is a good thing. I'm going to tell you, as literally the only person in this chamber, and possibly the entire legislature, who knew personally the author of the FMLA, former Congressman William D. Ford from Taylor, Michigan, and who has had conversations with people who worked closely with him on the FMLA, that even when the FMLA was being debated and passed over a quarter century ago, that the FMLA did not go far enough then. That's back in the 90s, folks. And yes, I am in a position to speak to his intent. Congressman Ford wanted the FMLA to not only cover a wide range of people and include people who work in businesses with fewer than 50 people, he also believed that it should be paid leave, not unpaid. The current law, PA 338 of 2018, does exactly that and is more closely aligned to the actual spirit and intent of FMLA than what we have before us does. Put another way, PA 338 of 2018 allows you to be a human being without getting fired. And that cuts to the heart of this legislation, because Michigan's wealthy CEOs don't believe they employ human beings. And they've long bankrolled their special interest friends in the fight to ensure they don't have to treat their workers as such. With these changes, this body will be telling Michigan's working people, her working families, that it doesn't view them as human beings either. So it'll tell them that the employer's bottom line is more important than their ability to take sufficient care of themselves and their families. It tells Michigan's workers and their families that the unproven, unfounded fears of business and economic Armageddon are more important than the very people, the human beings who help make those businesses successful. According to SB 1175, if a company is made up of fewer than 50 employees, the employer would not be required by law to give its workers even one measly hour of sick leave. I don't know about you, but when I've been sick, it's never been only for an hour. With these changes, an employer is also under no obligation to provide workers with earned sick time until they have hit a certain anniversary of their start date. 0 hours. So if someone works for a small company, or if they haven't been there for more than a year, they better not get sick or be prepared to face the consequences. According to this legislation, one would have to give notice in advance of needing the sick time. I guess no one supporting it has ever awakened vomiting or had a child wake up with a fever of 104. And y'all know what I experienced with my daughter. Or an aging relative have a heart attack or a stroke. I guess no one supporting this legislation can't empathize one iota with the woman getting assaulted on her way to her night shift job, having to be at the hospital to undergo the process of getting a rape kit done, and questions from the police about pressing charges and what happened because of the ridiculous time constraints written into the bill about notification of use of one's sick time. How can anyone be expected to make any of those scenarios or any other work? It doesn't. And SB 1175 is not designed to work. It's a disgrace. It is actually positively Dickensian. It drastically and unnecessarily strips the initiative of the benefits and has nothing to do with protecting the economy as its supporters attempt to claim. It's another attempt at winning favor with and carrying the water of the same group that likes to wax poetic. If we're going to let market forces dictate business-related policy, the market, in this case, the customers of the Earned Paid Sick Leave Act, are the people that it affects. And the market has spoken. They want and need an Earned Paid Sick Leave Act in the form of PA 338 of 2018, and not what we have before us here. It's as clear as day. And that's why I urge my colleagues to join me in voting no.